The Golden State Warriors aren't your average 7 seed. After knocking off Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in tournament,
it's Curry off a screen, fakes, fires, stuck it! He just stuck it!
Chef Curry,
final 3 seconds, Steph between the whole roster, and threw it in! Are you kidding me?
Jimmy Buckets,
Start. Butler! Save the day!
and Draymond Green walk into their first-round matchup with the upstart Houston Rockets as betting favorites.
Butler bounces, Curry, ridiculous!
It's only the second time in NBA history a 7 seed has been favored to win a first-round series, the first being the 2021 Lakers, and we all remember how that went. LeBron James bounced in the first round for the first time in his career. Historically, 7 seeds advancing is rare, but not unheard of. The '87 Sonics,
Back, and then Thorpe mishandles the ball. Williams the steal, pops the jumper.
'89 Warriors,
And listen to this crowd. Diego will have a chance for a 3-point play as the Golden State Warriors are going to pull one of the biggest upsets in the last few years.
'91 Warriors, '98 Knicks,
Allen Houston flips it out to Ward. Up top, Starks. Starks the three. It's good. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 13. Timeout Miami.
2010 Spurs, and most recently the 2023 Lakers all pulled it off.
LeBron tries to get around him, LeBron all the way, score! And one!
What about an 8 seed toppling a 1 seed? It's happened only 6 times. The most iconic example, the 2007 We Believe Warriors knocking off the top-seeded Mavericks.
Down the middle, pass to Jay Rich, 3-ball love stun. They got it! The Golden State Warriors have pulled off the biggest playoff upset in history.
The most recent, just 2 years ago, and let's just say the Butler did it.
Here's Butler, driving right into Grant Williams, count it! And he's pointing at Grant Williams from the ground.
In fact, out of the 12 major upsets by 7 and 8 seeds in NBA history, a third involved either the Warriors or Jimmy Butler.
7 minutes ago, Butler hatchets his way inside.
Dub Nation has good reason to believe, but what if I told you the key to this series isn't Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, or even Steve Kerr? What if the key is a 22-year-old who spent the past 2 must-win games against the Clippers and Grizzlies riding the bench?
This is recording, right?
All right, GOATs, today we've got an awesome sponsor, Prize Picks, the ultimate destination for daily fantasy sports. If you think you know ball and want to turn your pocket change into serious cash, then Prize Picks has you covered. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, decide if they are going to have more or less on their projected stats, and boom, you're basically a sports stockbroker without the boring spreadsheets. And it's not just basketball. You can bet on baseball, MMA, golf. Heck, if they had competitive thumb wrestling, I'm sure they'd have that too. Sign up today at prizepicks.com or use code GOATED when you deposit $10. Play your first $5 and Prize Picks will hand you $50 instantly. Whether you win or lose, let's get paid. The Warriors-Rockets series features 4 members of the 2021 draft class: Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga. 3 of them have already inked extensions. Kuminga hasn't, and it's becoming a major problem. Before the Warriors' play-in game against Memphis, Kuminga was absent from the team's pre-game huddle. He didn't even come to the bench until minutes after tip-off. Styles make fights, and matchups dictate lineups. Kuminga may not have fit against Memphis, but Houston's athleticism and length could make him indispensable.
Sets the pick for Green. Oh! Oh my goodness!
Against the Rockets, Kuminga has been elite.
Step back to Kuminga. Perfectly done.
In 4 games this season, he averaged 21.3 points and 6.8 rebounds per game, while shooting 50.8% from the field and 42.1% from 3. His 85 total points versus Houston are the most he's scored against any team. In the 2 wins against Houston, he averaged 26.2 points per game in 30 minutes.
Now he's got Van Vliet on him. Kuminga to the rim. New career high in the bucket. And again, stick with the ball screens.
And in the 2 losses, 20 points in 36 minutes and 9 points through 19 minutes.
Last 10 days ago, he shot the ball very well, and Kuminga That's where he's at his best.
Meanwhile, Steph Curry has averaged just 16.3 points per game on 36% shooting versus Houston, his second worst mark behind only Cleveland.
And everyone standing here in Houston. Curry steps back on the launch. He missed it.
Jimmy Butler, slightly better efficiency, but still just 16 points per game in 2 games. Kuminga has arguably been the Warriors' best player against the Rockets, and there's strong data to suggest the more he plays, the more they win. Houston's length and defensive pressure stifle stars, and in their mid-30s, both Curry and Butler have certainly lost some of their burst and quickness. Kuminga's athleticism, rim pressure, and defensive versatility could cut through Houston like a knife, but he has to get on the court to make it happen.
Like I said, I'd be surprised if he didn't find his way back out there, just from what I know of my experience with the playoffs, how things work. But again, I have to read what we need. I have to read who's playing well together. And to be very frank, the Jimmy-JK combination has not been great, and that's the tricky part here.
When we look at the film, the Warriors played the Rockets 5 times this season and won 3 of those matchups. On December 5th, 2024, we saw Kuminga putting Aaron Holiday in jail, taking contact from Aquaman, and still finishing through the contact.
Kuminga around that oh my goodness. Jonathan Kuminga's finishes this fourth quarter.
There might be 50 players in the league who can dream of making that play on a consistent basis, but I'd be shocked if even 25 could do it against a defense like Houston's. Game on the line, up 3. Kuminga isolates against Dillon Brooks, one of the league's best perimeter defenders. Jabari Smith Jr. is the low man, and Brooks has Van Fleet and Thompson flanking him on either side. To make matters even more complicated for Kuminga, Curry's in street clothes, Draymond's next to him, and a very pissed off Jimmy Butler is somewhere in South Beach sipping $300 Americanos. Kuminga reads the defense, splits a switch, and hits the game's most important bucket through contact and through a double team.
Kuminga to the rim. New career high in the bucket. And again, stick with the ball screens. We had Buddy Hield run over there. You didn't like that look. And you had Andrew Wiggins come over.
No Curry, no Dre, no Jimmy, no problem. The Rockets and Golden State also had an overtime thriller where we saw the 2 sides of Kuminga. Watch here as Kuminga vacates the driving lane, giving Buddy Hield a clean angle to kick it out. Swish.
Shoot 3. I tell you what, they could not be better offensively. They're 10 of 15 against a legitimately good defensive team.
Smart off-ball movement. Necessary, especially when you're shooting a career-low 30.5% from 3 on a career-high volume. Here, Kuminga calls for a screen to get Amen Thompson off of him. Worried about the jumper, the Rockets opt to switch. As Kuminga drives, Amen abandons Kyle Anderson to offer a double team. Thompson does his best to change the release, but Kuminga barely registers it. Another bucket.
Kuminga opens the scoring in overtime.
The talent and raw athleticism is obvious. Just watch how Kuminga speeds up the court like a bullet and cuts through 3 Rockets defenders in transition with a left-handed finish over Jabari Smith Jr.
Kuminga, 100 miles an hour, puts it up and in! Be a one-man fast break, move at a different speed than everybody else.
Here, Kuminga calls for an isolation against Jabari Smith Jr. The Warriors clear out the weak side. Tari Eason is too far away from the gap worrying about a kick out to Buddy Hield, and Kuminga is just free to attack Smith one-on-one in space. The result is another lefty finish.
Kuminga down the lane, scored again! What an overtime for Kuminga! They've been going at Jabari Smith. You got Jabari Smith Jr., forget about passing, just go at him.
But then he does something like this.
They double Kuminga and threw it away.
And you understand the full Jonathan Kuminga feast or famine experience that Warriors fans have been going through for 4 years now. The glimpses of greatness peppered in with rookie mistakes that seem to happen more often than they should at this stage of his career. The Warriors didn't trade for Jimmy Butler to make the playoffs. They did it to get Steph Curry his 5th ring. But the fit with Kuminga has always been questionable. Both operate in the same spots on the floor. Both attack, both draw fouls, and both struggle from deep. The difference? Butler's better at almost everything, especially as a playmaker and decision maker.
Butler stole the ball. He's got a trailer. Butler.
And Bane had to let him go with those 3 fouls.
Timeout, Memphis.
But Kuminga is the better athlete, and maybe the better matchup for this series. At 22, Kuminga is staring down the possibility of a split with the team that drafted him. He's coming off career lows in games played, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. With Butler extending for 2 years and $121 million, there may be no money or role left for Kuminga in the Bay. Over the next few weeks, Kuminga will be looking to force Golden State's hand, and he'll also be auditioning his talents for 29 other teams. If Kuminga rides the bench and the Warriors win, Kuminga could be walking into the most important summer of his career with his stock in the dumps. But if he shows up, really shows up, the regular season will be a distant memory. There's just one question. Do you believe, Dub Nation? Anyways, wherever you are in the world, be the GOAT of that moment. Stay GOATed.